Let's get this started. Whoops. Got to get the fancy hat. So, good morning, everybody. My name is Anres. Real quick, I got to show you my fancy shirt. I've been lurking Crowfall for quite a long time, and been fortunate enough to fortunate. You know, if you chip in enough early in the Kickstarter, you're able to get in into the game early. I'm seeing a lot more volume of people in, which is an exciting thing, even with the amount of ganking that you're seeing as people are learning and playing with their characters. Combat is not the only thing that they're testing in the big world. So I'm actually on the Sanctuary server at the moment. I've been spending most of my time on the Misery server gathering, just so I can put together this stream where I kind of sit down and actually craft two very specific items with all of the optional pieces to kind of show the current breadth and depth of the Crowfall crafting system. So if none of you guys has ever did a non-theme park crafting system, it can feel grindy, and you're looking at the forums and you're reading people posting how many steps it takes and how long it takes. I hear all that. My concept is this is supposed to be, kind of a Game of Thrones survival MMO. It's going to have all these things blended together. And part of that is that your time that you spend in game should have impact, right? So if you go into a PvP match or some sort of arena in a game and it takes you 5 seconds to jump up a title, do you really care about that title? I sure in the hell wouldn't. I mean, time. I invest my time in the game, and I hope to feel something in a return on that time. And so Crowfall is one of those games. Here, real quick, I'm on the PvE world, but that doesn't mean someone didn't come up here and kill me just out of spite. So, as you can see, I've blocked my location because, look down there. Hello, I see you, but now you don't see me. This is one of the things. So there's currently a bug that even though I'm actually underground, it shows a ghost, kind of a ghost silhouette above. I'm just going to sit up here and craft so I can keep track of the world, and we're going to talk about kind of currently the state of game, how things are going, and my opinions on it. First things first, it is a survival mechanic right now, and if you're testing Crowfall right now, thank you. I mean, I really appreciate that. I really appreciate people trying. Oh, look over here. Can you see that out in the distance? See over here by the rocks straight ahead? Oh, we missed it. But if you happen to be watching, you'll see kind of a cloud effect. That shows. Oh, there it is. So that shows something's mining. I would say somebody's mining over there. Now you can't see the resources, certain resources at this distance, right? But we can see the effect on the world. So that person right there is digging, and I'm looking at the formation of the rocks. How sad is it that I'm learning the formation of the rocks? And say that there's either ore or some sort of stone formation there that has value. And so it is dangerous to gather in Crowfall, because even without the heightened skills of scouting and stalking and all the stealth mechanics, you can tell when someone's gathering around you if you're an alert person. So if you've got the high ground right here, as you can see, we're still watching that person mine over there. If I was a stealth class, and I'm partially a stealth class, but I'm not really a stealth class, I could just go right over there and just gank the living crap out of them. You wait till they're half mid swing and you hit them. They've already got they're equipping their items right there, their pickaxe or their hammer. So you can get one or two shots on them before they can even come around and hit you with their normal attack. So it's really dangerous to gather. And so this game will be a kind of a team guild-based gathering. So anyway, enough of my blathering. I don't know if you guys have looked. There's some really good streams out there. There's some really good articles. There are people who are writing blogs about crafting. So let's just jump into a little bit of crafting first. This is my current inventory. Right now they have what's called the Spirit Bank, and the Spirit Bank is not what it is going to be in the game. So if you're not a huge follower of Crowfall yet, the Spirit Bank is actually going to be where you export resources from Realm A into a Campaign B, etc. So let's say I'm in the Dregs or one of the high-end campaigns, and I'm getting really good materials like these purples or something. I don't want to carry them on me because next time I get killed, they could drop, right? So what I'll have to do is, as part of the campaign, each of the areas will have what's called a Spirit Bank, where I'll go and I'll drop off stuff. And so it's out of my inventory and in this neutral location. Let's call it kind of a Switzerland bank, right? So everyone's dumping stuff into the Switzerland bank, but you only get to take it out of the Spirit Bank, I believe, last time I read, was at the end of the campaign, based on how well your team does in that campaign. Do I get everything out of the bank? Do I get some of the things out of the bank? Do I get nothing out of my bank? So it's kind of a built-in limiter to take quality resources from the more difficult locations and allow you to take them back to you to the Eternal Kingdom or maybe less difficult campaigns. Now, that's just the export, that's not the import. The import rules are sometimes you come into some things just flat out naked and you had to start from scratch, and sometimes you'll be able to import in your weapons and your armor. So the ability to move stuff around is important. So real quick, let me look one more time around. I feel like a cat in a room full of rocking chairs when I'm in this game, even in the PvE area, because they could still kill you, which would slow me down. Now, people may be able to look at the stream and determine where I'm at. It's a pretty big, map right now. But we'll keep an eye on it. Hopefully, if people gank us, I can just get away and we'll find another place to start crafting. But anyhow, so crafting mechanics, I won't lie to you, it's complicated. This is a very complicated process that takes step after step after step. The first thing I was going to create today is a set of gloves. So I'm going to choose leather gloves. As you can see, I've got some good blue level. It's gray, white, blue, gray, white, green, blue, purple, and then there's some legendary colors. Now, within that, there are some various tiers and qualities. There's some complexity there, too. Right now, for me, just from the concept of I am just going to craft a few things leather today, and we'll talk about all of the steps needed. So, first things first, you'll notice that I've got a bunch of potions mixed up. So right now, when you craft something, or you attempt to craft something, see I have a success chance of 65%. That's going to be able to be mitigated with my skills, the choices that I make, the training that I do, etc. Except we're doing testing, and so the people at Crowfall were kind enough to allow us to craft mock potions to increase our stats. So I'm going to knock one off of all here. Let me go out and take a look here. So I've got assembly, experimentation, and experimentation points. So when I go back in, now I'm back at 98% chance. Now it still means I can fail, but putting things together, you can fail. Putting together optional pieces, you can fail. You can fail on trying to increase the stats, and then you can fail at the final put together, which right now it's a poof, which bothers me a lot. I think what we will probably see is a fail with an item that can somehow be salvaged, because it's not like, I know it's magical, but I'm sitting on 15 hides here, and I go like this, and they just all disappear in the world. It doesn't really make a lot of sense. There may not be a useful outcome of those 15 hides that I used. That doesn't mean that there's not a blob of leathery mass in front of me that I can't do something with. So first things first. So here's a set of leather gloves. Everything in green is optional here, but it does take quite a bit of stuff. I already pre-did a couple of leather pieces, the hardened leathers and pieces like that. I'm going to go into each of those components. So here we got a hardened leather, reinforced padding, are the two pieces, so leatherworking parts. So let's look at the reinforced padding. So I've not seen any specialty seals yet. Additive agents, I don't know if they come from alchemy. I don't know if they come from a drop on a creature. I don't know if they come from a drop on a creature and I have to refine them. I've not seen any yet, and I've been looking underneath every rock that you can think of. I haven't found them, but I'm excited. Who knows what they can do. But as you can see, as I drill down here, back to the original gloves, so we have a bunch of different hide choices. I have a bunch of different ore choices, and then I have all these different options. So even though there's only one pattern for leather gloves, the statistical analysis on what I can do for these gloves, the output, the choices, the fine-tuning that I can do is pretty ridiculous if you think about it. The stats on that is pretty crazy. So I'm going to try to play with some AP because, you know, I'm all about doing some damage. And so just like you would think ore has certain properties, same with the leathers, you know. And so I've been experimenting and tracking myself what all leather and leather ore combinations do. So am I going to share that on the stream? Probably not right now because they're going to probably change. And second of all, you know, why would I share that with you guys? You may kill me later. So I think I'll... but we'll see. You'll be able to see the outcome of my items that I create. So hopefully if you're following along, you'll take a look and make some patterns and say, hey, how come this works? This comes. And as I mouse over some of the components, you'll see which stats are brought in those components. So first things first, let's go back to reinforced padding. So I don't have a lot of space here at the moment, so I'm going to delete up a bunch of stuff. And I don't want to take too much... I don't want to spend too much time because I don't want to blow my potions. But so I'm going to make another reinforced padding, even though, see, I have a padded Hellcat leather. Do you look real quick? Stealth, right? So the output of this padded item gave me small amount of stealth, and I put that in my gloves as one of the components. So you can actually create subcomponents with different values in it, so the end result could be a little bit of stealth, a little bit of AP. I'm going to have a little bit of fire resistance or fire damage. So, I mean, there's such a broad amount. So here we go, some hide. I've got lots of hide to play with. I'm going to use this one, purple one, in my finished product, but I'm going to make one for you guys right here. So let me see, I've got tons and tons of hide laying around. Let's just do a elk hide, and then let's just drop in a single piece of ore. Let's just drop in, there we go. And so we're going to combine, and see, here's my padded, look, I got support power for elk. And so now, once I choose it, now because of the quality of the materials I put in and the base statistics of the item, I have the ability to adjust its outcome using experimentation. So I can increase my risk by taking 4 shots at experiment at one time, but I have a 50% chance of causing a problem. Now, I've mitigated that with potions. But the more points I use at one time, the faster the item is to create. I'm just going to do a couple of double. So I got a great success. So I've increased here by 16.2. Build time is 14 seconds now to create this piece. Eventually we'll have blueprints. So once you come up with the perfect padded elk leather piece, because a lot of materials use pads in it. Some of your chainmail, some of your leather, all your items, all your armor pieces can use padding in it. And so if you find a certain pattern in your padded elk leather that you like, you can create a perfect iteration of it, and then you can make a blueprint of it. And as long as your thralls have all the resources needed that you used to create that outcome, they can churn those pads out for you. So I'm going to make this item. Let's hope the take bug doesn't happen. So there's currently a bug in the game, which is again why we're testing. Which on occasion, after you create the item and you hit the take button, it disappears. And let me tell you, when you make a purple item,